The shadow of kings, fear of a new tyranny.
But before we start to get into the video, please support us by like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that we can provide new insights and knowledge about world history. Thank you.
In the sweltering summer of 1787, delegates from 12 of the 13 American states gathered in Philadelphia to reimagine the political architecture of a fledgling republic. The Articles of Confederation had proven ineffective, unable to forge unity or provide a strong central government. As the Revolutionary War faded into memory, the challenge before these men was immense: to build a durable framework for a nation still haunted by the specter of monarchy. Central to this monumental task was the creation of a new, singular position of national leadership, the presidency. Yet designing this role brought with it a profound fear: the emergence of a new tyranny. The founding fathers of the United States, deeply shaped by Enlightenment ideals and their collective rebellion against the British Crown, approached the notion of executive power with caution and trepidation. Their lived experiences under King George III had left a lasting imprint, reinforcing their suspicion of concentrated authority. The very idea of establishing a powerful executive echoed the monarchical system they had fought so fiercely to escape. And yet, it was clear that the loose confederation of states, with its impotent Congress, could not meet the demands of governance, diplomacy, or defense. The Philadelphia Convention was thus a crucible of contradiction. Delegates wrestled with a paradox: how to empower a central leader enough to ensure effective governance, yet prevent the rise of a new despot. The debates were intense, and the solutions born from these discussions laid the bedrock for the American presidency, an office both empowered and constrained by the Constitution. James Madison, often hailed as the father of the Constitution, championed a system of checks and balances. He recognized that power, if left unchecked, would inevitably corrupt. The presidency, he believed, must be strong enough to enforce laws and conduct foreign policy, yet bound by a separation of powers that would forestall tyranny. Madison and his contemporaries drew from classical sources and recent history alike, citing Roman republicanism as well as British abuses to illustrate their fears and aspirations. One of the most contentious issues at the convention was how the president should be chosen. Some delegates advocated for direct election by the people, while others feared that popular vote would lead to demagoguery or favor populous states. The compromise, the Electoral College, was a reflection of this ambivalence. It was designed to balance popular sovereignty with elite oversight, a mechanism intended to buffer against the rise of charismatic tyrants. Another major debate centered on the term of office. The idea of a life-term presidency was raised and swiftly rejected, deemed too close to monarchy. Eventually, the framers settled on a 4-year term with the possibility of re-election, providing continuity without permanence. The president would serve as commander-in-chief and chief diplomat, but Congress would retain the power to declare war and approve treaties, ensuring that the executive could not act unilaterally. The inclusion of impeachment provisions was another safeguard against tyranny. Unlike a king, the president would be subject to removal from office for high crimes and misdemeanors. This accountability mechanism underscored the framers' commitment to a republic governed by laws, not individuals. George Washington's unanimous election as the first president in 1789 helped to soothe fears about the office. His reputation for humility, his voluntary surrender of power after the Revolutionary War, and his precedent of serving only 2 terms reassured many that the presidency would not devolve into monarchy. Yet even Washington was aware of the precarious balance the new system attempted to maintain. In his farewell address, he warned against the dangers of factionalism and the accumulation of power. As the nation grew, so too did the power of the presidency. Thomas Jefferson's Louisiana Purchase, Andrew Jackson's populist defiance of the Supreme Court, Abraham Lincoln's suspension of habeas corpus during the Civil War, each instance tested the limits of executive authority. These moments reflected the elasticity of the office, its ability to expand in times of crisis, and the enduring tension between liberty and order. The 20th and 21st centuries further complicated the founders' vision. Presidents like Franklin D. Roosevelt, who served 4 terms and wielded vast power during the Great Depression and World War II, redefined the scope of executive influence. The post-Watergate era saw new reforms aimed at reining in presidential power, including the War Powers Resolution and campaign finance regulations. Yet, the modern media landscape and the rise of the imperial presidency continue to challenge the constitutional boundaries laid out in 1787. Another layer of complexity arises from global interdependence and the president's role as the face of American democracy abroad. Modern presidents are not only domestic executives, but also global actors whose decisions can affect the entire world. This dual role amplifies the need for restraint and wisdom in the exercise of power, lest the office morph into an unchecked global throne. Furthermore, the digital age has introduced new dimensions of executive influence. Social media allows presidents to speak directly to millions, bypassing traditional institutions and filters. While this democratization of communication can foster transparency, it also carries risks of misinformation, polarization, and personality-driven politics that echo the fears of charismatic tyranny the framers sought to avoid. Today, the presidency remains a paradox, an office born out of fear of kingship, yet often imbued with king-like power. The founders' vision was not static. It anticipated conflict and evolution. The system they designed depends not only on legal frameworks, but on civic virtue, institutional integrity, and the active engagement of the citizenry. The shadow of kings still lingers in American political consciousness. It surfaces in debates over executive orders, national emergencies, and the balance between security and freedom. It is present when presidents are accused of overreach or when they are elevated to near mythical status by supporters. The fear that animated the Constitutional Convention remains a vital part of the nation's political DNA. In reflecting on the creation of the presidency at the Philadelphia Convention, we see a nation attempting to forge a new path without forgetting the perils of the old one. The delegates did not seek to eradicate power. They sought to tame it. They built a system that could wield authority without succumbing to it. That system is not perfect, nor is it immune to failure. But it remains one of the most ambitious experiments in balancing freedom with governance in human history. As we navigate the challenges of the present, the lessons of 1787 still resonate. The presidency must be strong enough to lead, yet accountable enough to serve. The Republic must remain vigilant, not in fear of kings past, but in defense against new tyrannies yet to come.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you like videos like this. Thank you.